thoughts, one thought after another. This is the dimension of object consciousness that is many people's predominant mindset. And that is why their lives are so out of balance. Object consciousness needs to be balanced by space consciousness for sanity to return to our planet and for humanity to fulfill its destiny. The arising of space consciousness is the next stage in the evolution of humanity. And of course, we see a battle going on in the evolution of humanity. So we need to be very clear about what Eckhart Tolle is saying. I'm going to share this with you again. Most people's lives are cluttered up with things, material things, things to do, things to think about. Their lives are like the history of humanity, which Winston Churchill defined as one damn thing after another. Their minds are filled up with the clutter of thoughts, one thought after another. This is the dimension of object consciousness that is many people's predominant reality, and that is why their lives are so out of balance. Object consciousness needs to be balanced by space consciousness for sanity to return to our planet and for humanity to fulfill its destiny. The arising of space consciousness is the next stage in the evolution of humanity. When we hear Tolle relate to space consciousness, and he relates to being consciousness and to presence, we understand that it requires, according to his point of view, the quieting of the intellectual mind. That is what we're doing in the process of meditation. We're simply letting go that ongoing, incessant thinking that people are involved in the pursuit of figuring out how to live life in the outer material world more effectively, more harmoniously, joyfully, prosperously. But all of that thinking is actually, in a way, a block to this intelligence, which is God consciousness, or the divine nature, or as some relate to it, Buddha nature, or as the Hindus relate to it, the Atman within, or Charles Fillmore's favorite quote, Christ in you is your hope of glory. So accessing this particular core nature within us requires a practice in meditation. And at first it will seem very futile. When people start meditation after they've lived their lives attempting to figure things out and work things out according to their intellectual objective observation, they find, what's going on? I'm wasting time. In meditation, I feel like nothing's happening. I'm wasting time. I could be getting something done, something important, something that will effectively improve my lifestyle. But that's not true. Every time a person sits down to quiet the mind, to just rest from that thinking, the spirit starts to move within them. The more refined level of awareness starts to open up and expand. And when we do that for a while, eventually we gain insight, sight from within, not sight outwardly. Insight reveals to us what is really necessary in any given moment, what is appropriate, what does bring healing, what does bring peace and harmony. Because that insight is coming from that intelligence of which we are a part. It's called Christ in you, but it's also God awareness or God consciousness, or whatever the Eastern religions relate to it as, Atman, Brahma. These things are simply words used to define a more expanded level of awareness. And we access that by quieting the mind, not involving the mind in more thinking, more speculation, a more refined computer software program. You can get on a computer and work from one end of the day to the other and try to improve upon the different things that you're looking at and figuring out, but you're not going to find your way into insight. That's aligning with the intelligence that is life itself. It's omnipresent life. It knows in any given moment what is right action, not arbitrarily. If you do this, you might get away with that. But right action, to be able to say, oh, I feel so good about what's taking place now because I'm here in this moment, one with the intelligence that is guiding me in living this moment. So, if you haven't been practicing meditation and beginning to get the insight and the joy of insight, it's time to know that every time you sit down, you're telling your mind to be still. It's like training your mind to be quiet for a while. You don't shut your mind off. You simply tell it, relax, be still. Let's become present. Let's be okay with feeling this moment and what is happening in this moment. And you let your thoughts pass by. I say to people who are beginning meditation to keep a pencil or pen and paper next to you. So when you get a particular idea or an insight, you shouldn't stop meditating. You need to write it down and then go on with your meditation. And at one place, you'll finally enter that sublime level of peace and joy in which you are one in the process of being here and now. That there's no separation between what you thought yourself to be and what actually is. So it's incumbent upon us to practice the presence by practicing the quieting of the mind. We are not advocating, as some people think, withdrawing from outer directed living. We're not. We are Dharma yogis. We work out this process of transformation while we're still in the world. We don't withdraw from taking action in life and having our goals and dreams that we are pursuing. We don't do that just to be sitting still and quiet in this sublime level of awareness. What we find ourselves doing is carrying that level of peace and joy, insight, into what it is we are doing. So we are becoming light beings in all that we are doing. And Eckhart Tolle will speak to this as well. This is on page 264, paragraph 3 of A New Earth. Without living in alignment with your primary purpose, whatever purpose you come up with, even if it is to create heaven on earth, will be of the ego or become destroyed by time. Sooner or later, it will lead to suffering. If you ignore your inner purpose, no matter what you do, even if it looks spiritual, the ego will creep into it and do it, and so the means will corrupt the end. Without living in alignment with your primary purpose, space consciousness, whatever purpose you come up with, even if it is to create heaven on earth, will be of the ego or become destroyed by time. Sooner or later, it will lead to suffering. If you ignore your inner purpose, no matter what you do, even if it looks spiritual, the ego will creep into it, and so the means will corrupt the end. So, everything that Eckhart Tolle advocates is living in this present moment completely and totally. I should have brought a glass of water out here with me. There's tea? Thank you. Everything that Tolle is advising us to do leads to a relinquishment of the limited definition of life, which is that I'm strictly a body in a world of separate phenomena. We recognize we are in connection with or in touch with everything around us. Our thoughts affect everything around us. So, this process leads us into the now present moment, which means we're surrendering the futuring of the thinking mind, which is always concerned with future or past. We are becoming courageous and faithful to be in the present moment and allowing this refined intelligence of which we are all a part to guide us in that moment, not wanting anything but that insight that allows us to live effectively, joyfully, and beautifully. I'm going to read this last quote from Eckhart Tolle, then I'm going to end this talk tonight, and we'll do a meditation. This is from Eckhart Tolle's book, A New Earth, on page 269. So be true to life by being true to your inner purpose. As you become present and thereby total in what you do, your actions become charged with spiritual power. At first, there may be no noticeable change in what you do. Only the how changes. Your primary purpose is now to enable consciousness to flow into what you do. The secondary purpose is whatever you want to achieve through the doing, whereas the notion of purpose before was always associated with future. There is now a deeper purpose that can only be found in the present through the denial of time, the temporary denial of time, which is meditation, because the object of a Dharma yogi's path is to carry the divine or refined level of consciousness into the world and into the purposes that this particular individual is pursuing. So I'll read that again. So be true to life by being true to your inner purpose. As you become present and thereby total in what you do, your actions become charged with spiritual power. At first, there may be no noticeable change in what you do. Only the how changes. Your primary purpose is now to enable consciousness to flow into what you do. The secondary purpose is whatever you want to achieve through the doing, whereas the notion of purpose before was always associated with future. There is now a deeper purpose that can only be found in the present through the denial of time, or the temporary denial of time. So as long as we are into linear thinking and the initial definition of life, we are involved in attempting to make the future a better future for us personally. And so we're always involved in that time-space continuum. But as Tolle is saying, with some practice, we can quiet the mind from that projection or perception. And when we quiet the mind from that, natural awareness of intelligence enters in to bring us into this joyful, present, fearless being in the here and now awareness. That is what the spiritual teachers are all in the process of teaching us. That is what A Course in Miracles is attempting to open us up to, and what the masters down through the ages have been attempting to bring human beings into. That we are not just physical, separate body-minds. That we are interconnected with everything we look upon. And thereby, everything we look upon is part of our true self and is in fact sacred. So you can see how this eliminates the need for some type of religious dogma that is explaining to us that to be right with God, you have to do this, this, and this, and this. And then on some distant day, you will drop the body, and then if you did enough things in keeping with that dogma, you will be able to enter the gates of heaven. That's not what unity is aspiring to teach you. To bring you the present truth of heaven in your midst, heaven in your everyday life, here and now, which you will take and move on into that space when you finally finish up your dharma, your karma here in the physical life. You will, in the heavenly awareness, move into that divine experience beyond physical level of awareness. Okay, I thought that would actually prompt Norma to come up and we can get started on the meditation. But I will go ahead and do the meditation until my higher self gets here. Just take a couple of deep breaths. As you release your breath, release any pressing cares or concerns you may have brought with you. For they are all part of the speculation from the false interpretation of life. Just breathing and allowing the breath to come naturally in and out is a way to quiet the mind. Breathing in and breathing out is like a mantra or a prayer. Remembering to breathe, especially when facing challenging circumstances, serves as a pathway into the higher level of awareness. So now just imagine your body being a complete vacuum and the breath as a golden ethereal light. So you breathe in the golden light of life. It fills your body from the tips of your toes to the top of your head. And as you release this light, release it through the pores of your body. See the light leaving through the pores of your body into the world. Breathing in the refined golden light of life. It filling your body from the tips of your toes to the top of your head. Releasing the light through the pores of your body into the world. Just breathing is a miracle. It can serve as a prayer, as a mantra, when faced with challenging conditions. Breathing in the refined golden light of life. It filling your body from the tips of your toes to the top of your head. Releasing the light into the world. You feeling lighter, more buoyant, more expanded in the awareness of just being. Breathing in the refined golden light of life. Releasing the breath through the pores of your body into the world. Feeling buoyant and free, allowing yourself to be expanded in the awareness of the one in all, the all in one. Breathing in the refined golden light of life. Releasing the breath as light into the world. Feeling buoyant, feeling peace, feeling your oneness with all life. Just breathing is a miracle. Breathing is a prayer. Breathing is a mantra. in this refined level of awareness. We will offer the names of those that have been submitted to our prayer list. As Norma calls the name, simply let the light consciousness go to it with the words, "Be whole, be whole."
Azor, Althra Waterhouse, Jessica Davis, Uter Verhagen, City of Groningen, Steve Taylor, Althra Waterhouse, Jessica Davis, Pasco and Mango, Daisy the dog, Richard, Alyssa, Heather, Jamie, Lori Martell, Mick Hearn, Brett Herm, Hadley Moore, Tracy Morell, Antonio Bertram, David Colleen, Gary and Eric Backlund, C.J. Young, Sheen Ray and family, Bernadette Hallowhorn and family, Raphael McAdden, Carolina Gosselin, Azalin Kuhn, Bob Larson, Rianne Larson, the Larson children and grandchildren, Gretchen, Leela and Health Project, Catherine, Sheba and Andy and Joan, Julian and Sol, Chester and Laura Phillips, Amanda Phillips, Pat Phillips, Nico Phillips, John Stovall, Timothy Liakos, Spencer Cablo. You can call out a name if you'd like to at this time.
Family.
Sandy Spahn. We see these healing lights surrounding the prayer box. And all the people's names that have been submitted throughout the month, we see them healed. Physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Let us take a moment now to visualize this divine awareness entering the consciousness of everyone sharing this Boulder community with us. And it expanding into the consciousness of everyone sharing the state of Colorado with us. And this refined level of divine awareness, moving into the consciousness of everyone sharing these United States of America with us. And it expanding to take in every nation in the world, all the peoples of all the cultures and nature of the world. And this bringing forth the new heaven and the new earth, the grand new harmony of humanity with all the creatures and all the life forms on planet Earth. As we pray, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And God is love. To this we say, Amen. We will take an offering for unity now. And those of you who are watching online, we invite you to put in a personal appearance whenever you feel so up to it. So as we bring to mind that financial gift we'd like to make to Unity of Boulder, let's bless it with this offering prayer. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is.
Oh, my mind, learn thou self-control. Oh, my mind, learn thou self-control. Go not in the house of senses, go not in the house of senses. Learn thou self-control. Oh, my mind, learn thou self-control. Oh, my mind, learn thou self-control.
Join me now, please. We dedicate this tithe to the will and the work of the Spirit of truth, and to the victory of the Spirit of truth. Amen.
As you leave, in the front table, I have a copy of Jack Norma explaining about it, and I also have the prayer that Myrtle Fillmore did, and that's a part of the prayer. But I felt it's an important part. If you just take that part and you can accomplish that, then I'm going to feed you the rest of that prayer. It's yummy. We all want to be healed.
On Sunday, we have our 9 and 11 o'clock services. Cinticia is beginning a series, a 4-part series, and it will be very insightful and beautiful, as always. I will be speaking to the divine purpose now in the world, as the world is and appears to us now.
And we have openings for choir for the Christmas season, and it's going to be at 6:30 tomorrow down in the middle room. And we're starting our Christmas song, so you're not coming in late. And it's really a great way to make great friends, because these people are friends for the rest of their life. It's such an intimate, wonderful, joyous experience. I don't like to make it regimented. I like people to laugh and have fun. So, come.
We have tea and cookies for those of you who would like to stay and chat for a while through these doors to your left into the bookstore.
And don't forget those handouts.
Don't forget those handouts on the front table
They're
in the lobby.
life-changing.
All right. To everyone, good night.